Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Halloween today and I have 3 ghost stories for you about Thai girls while we have a walk through Ripley's Believe It or Not, who are having a theme at the moment of Halloween. So it's absolutely appropriate. If you don't know where it is, it's in Royal Garden on the top floor. Okay, let's get on with the story. Now, I'm going back several years actually, not long after I came to live in Thailand. I'd been seeing this young freelancer named Nan for a couple of months. By the way, back then it was only 1500 baht, long time, and for a 9 or a 10, not like that anymore, is it? Anyway, that aside, Nan got a chest infection and was coughing up a lot of phlegm. And couldn't breathe properly. So I went to the pharmacy and I bought a 5-day course of the strongest antibiotics they had and told her to start taking them. She didn't want to, but I insisted and made sure she did. I put them in her hand and watched her eat them, right? What she wanted to do was she wanted to go home to her village, which is a few miles northwest of Nakhon Ratchasima or Korat, to go to see Nok. Now, Nok was the village shaman who had apparently cured her of something similar a year before. She said she wanted to go the very next day. So the very next morning, after I insisted she take another antibiotic, they were big 1000 milligram ones, so they were quite strong, and I hired a car, and off we went to Isan. Now that evening we got to a hotel just outside her village. Couldn't stay at the parents' house because of a little cinder block shack. You don't want to stay there. Anyway, we relaxed and I made her take more antibiotics. So she called her mum, and her mum arranged for a visit to see Nok at Nok the shaman's house the next day. So next morning, more antibiotics, and then off to Nok's house. Now I think that Nok the shaman had one of the nicest houses in the village. I wonder why. So Nok told Nan that she had to wash the bad spirit out from inside of her, scare it away and wash it out. And she told her to sit on the floor, just beside a hose pipe and a bowl. Now I stood back and I just watched. Nok then stood behind Nan and started chanting very loudly. And she put some powder into the bowl, and then she filled the bowl with water from the hose pipe and mixed up the powder and picked up the bowl and held it high above Nan's head, chanting and chanting really loudly. Then she dumped the whole lot right over Nan's head, and she grabbed Nan by the shoulders from the back, and she was shaking her backwards and forwards and side to side and shaking her for 2 minutes, chanting loudly and all the time, to wash the spirit away and frighten the spirit away. Then she repeated the whole thing again 5 times, right? When she'd finished, Nok told Nan that she had washed the spirit away and frightened it away, and it would not come back, it was gone, and that Nan should go back to the hotel and sleep, which we did. After I paid Nok, of course, 2,000 baht at that time. So Nan slept for the early evening, and I woke up about 10 o'clock and insisted she take a double dose of antibiotics, and then she went back to sleep. Okay, so morning comes, and Nan sits up in bed, smiling, and announces she feels wonderful. All the sickness had gone. Not make bad spirit go away. So I said, what about the antibiotics? Do you think they did anything? tablets of her babies. I needed knock to make big sick go away. This is Thailand. So tell me what you think cured Nan. Do you think it was not the shaman, or you think it was the antibiotics? What do you think? Now, Thais are very superstitious people and still believe in stuff which would be laughed at in the West. One especially strong example of that is all Thais believe in ghosts. Great. Back to the story, guys. Obviously that's tied up with the Buddhist idea of reincarnation, which just confirms to Thais that ghosts are real. Now, an example of how strong this belief is happened to me a few years ago when I took a Pattaya girl for a 3-day trip to Ayutthaya for a little break. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, Ayutthaya was the old capital of Thailand before Bangkok, and is presently full of ruined temples, which were burnt nearly to the ground over 250 years ago in 1767, when the Burmese army sacked the city and massacred thousands of inhabitants, including monks. Now, the girl was not aware of any of these historical facts. Typical lack of Thai education when we went to Ayutthaya. But she listened to a Thai tour guide explaining everything, and was horrified that she was standing exactly in the place where thousands of people had been massacred, and she was silent for the rest of the day. In the hotel at night, I was woken up in the middle of the night by the sound of chanting, and I looked to the side of the bed, and there was this Pattaya go-go dancer kneeling on the floor with her hands in the Y, the praying position, rocking backwards and forwards, chanting and chanting. I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I pray ghosts not come. I pray ghosts not come." Needless to say, the next morning she got up straight away, got dressed and said, we go, not stay at Ayutthaya, we go." And she said, I said, "Why?" And she said, "This city full of thousands of ghosts." We left and we went to Hawaii. Now let me tell you another little story about ghosts. I realised after Ayutthaya that just how strongly Thai girls believe in ghosts. They really believe it. And I had an American friend of mine who was having some problems with a Thai girl who was obsessed with him, and she kept coming round all the time to his condo. Even if he had company, it wouldn't matter. She'd still come round and knock on the door and what have you, and basically cause a problem. And he was getting sick of it. So I said to him about what happened with the UTR, and we had an idea and said, why don't we just try this and see what happens, just for curiosity's sake. So what we decided to do was, when she came round the next time, we said, let her in and have a chat and have a drink with her, and then in the conversation drop something into the conversation about ghosts. So what we decided to say was that he was talking to the agent downstairs who had let him the condo about why he got the condo so cheap at the time. And the agent was reluctant at first to sort of say anything, and then because he's a Falang, the agent obviously assumed that it wouldn't be a problem. So the agent opened up and told the truth and said, well, what had actually happened was that there was an old guy who had lived in the apartment and obviously had big financial problems, and had in fact taken an overdose, and done himself in, and the body wasn't found for a week in the same bed that he had slept with the girl. And he told the girl all this and said, do you think that there may be a problem with a ghost in here? Do you think that's possible? We could have a problem with a ghost. Well, as soon as he said all that, the girls just started screaming and saying, you have ghosts, and you have to get Monk come. Monk must come and clean it. Monk must come and clean it. I not come back until Monk come and clean it. And he said, oh, I don't believe any of that nonsense, I'm not going to bother. You not have Monk come and clean room, I not come back. That's exactly what he wanted, isn't it? And he said, oh no, I not believe. And she said, I not come back, I'll go take everything, I not come back. And that's what happened. In fact, she didn't come back. And the whole thing worked out beautifully, exactly as we'd planned. This is Thailand. Anyway, guys, just a bit of fun for Halloween, 3 little stories. I have actually told a couple of these before, about a year ago in another video. So some of you may have heard them before, but obviously there's a lot of new subscribers in the last year, so a lot of people will not have heard them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget, have a look at Patreon and have a look at the Soy 6 videos, which are really crazy, and please subscribe and like and share and ring the bell. And thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful Halloween. See you in the next video.